Good morning, everybody. I'm Dr. Nitin Joshi, professor in neurology with teaching experience of 25 years, working as consultant neurosurgeon in Panvel. Today, we'll discuss acid-base balance. In various metabolic processes in body, mostly it is acid is the byproduct, and very rarely alkali is the byproduct. This is because in carbohydrate metabolism, there's formation of pyruvic acid or lactic acid. In the fat metabolism, there formation of ketone bodies, that is acetone, acetoacetic acid, beta hydroxybutyric acid. In phospholipid metabolism, there is production of phosphoric acid. In the sulfur containing amino acid, that is cysteine and methionine, there is formation of sulfuric acid. While in the metabolism of amino acid arginine, histidine and lysine, there is production of hydrochloric acid. Thus, in various metabolic processes, mostly it is acid as the byproduct and very rarely alkali is the byproduct, which is seen in the secretion of HCl by the parietal cells of the stomach in gastric juice. This is because simultaneously with secretion of HCl, there is absorption of bicarbonate in the venous circulation. This is called as alkaline tide. The various acids which are produced in the metabolic process in the body are volatile acids or non-volatile acids. Volatile acids are the acids which can be excreted by lungs or skin, while non-volatile acids or the fixed acids are the acids which cannot be excreted by lung or skin and so has to be excreted by kidney. Acid is the moiety which donates H plus ion or proton in the solution and gets converted into corresponding anion, while alkali is the moiety which accepts H plus ion in solution and gets converted into corresponding acid. Weak acid is the acid which donates comparatively lesser amount of H plus ion in solution and gets converted into corresponding anion, while strong acid is the acid which donates comparatively larger amount of H plus ion in solution. In spite of constant production of acid in various metabolic processes in the body, still the pH of the blood is maintained constant and it is in the range of 7.38 to 7.42 with average of 7.4. Maintaining this constant or steady blood pH is important for survival of the person because various metabolic processes involves various biochemical reactions which require optimum temperature and pH. And so maintaining this narrow range of pH is important for survival of the person. The maintaining this constant or steady blood pH is possible because of three regulatory mechanisms. One, buffer system. Second, respiratory function. And third, kidney function. Buffer system comes in action within a fraction of a second, while respiratory system comes in action in about 1 to 3 minutes. While kidney, which is the most important regulatory mechanism of the acid-base balance, still it does not come immediately in action, but it takes about hours or sometimes even a day or even few days to come in action so as to maintain the normal pH, that is normal concentration of H plus ion. Buffer system is the system of mixture of two solutions containing a weak acid and its salt with strong base. This buffer system prevents the drastic change of pH of the solution in spite of addition of acid or alkali. This is because buffer system is able to absorb H plus ion when acid is added, while able to absorb hydroxyl group when alkali is added. In case of respiratory system, we have seen that respiratory system comes in action in 1 to 3 minutes. So it is useful for rapid adjustment of the blood pH. Particularly useful in various metabolic conditions. So it is useful in metabolic acidosis, metabolic alkalosis. Respiratory system maintains the acid-base balance by increasing or decreasing the rate of ventilation. By increasing or decreasing the rate of respiration, it controls the concentration of dissolved carbon dioxide in plasma. Studies have shown that H plus ion concentration of plasma affects alveolar ventilation, while alveolar ventilation in turn affects H plus ion concentration of plasma. That is, whenever there is acidosis, that is increased H plus ion, this results into stimulation of the medullary respiratory center, causing increased rate and depth of respiration. Clinically, it is seen as acidotic breathing, causing increased carbon dioxide washout. As a result, there will be decreased concentration of dissolved carbon dioxide in plasma. So, there is decreased formation of carbon dioxide plus water, that is carbonic acid. Thus, there is decreased H plus ion formation. So, tries to adjust the H plus ion concentration. On the other hand, whenever there is alkalosis, that is decreased H plus ion concentration, there is inhibition of medullary respiratory center, causing decreased rate and depth of respiration, resulting into decreased carbon dioxide washout, that is increased retention of carbon dioxide in plasma. So there is increased concentration of dissolved carbon dioxide in plasma, which reacts with water to form increased carbonic acid, thus increasing the H plus ion concentration so as to adjust normal H plus ion concentration. In case of kidney, in fact, kidney is the most important regulatory mechanism of all the three adjusting mechanisms responsible for adjusting blood pH. However, it is not useful for the rapid action, but it is useful for the adjustment of the finer adjustment of the pH. This comes in action within few hours or maybe in a day, or sometimes it takes even few days to completely readjust the H plus ion concentration, that is pH of the blood. Kidney mechanism plays acid-base balance by 1. Secretion of H plus ion by renal tubular cells in the tubule lumen. Second, that is reabsorption of the filtered bicarbonate. And third, that is regeneration of new bicarbonate ion, particularly in the distal part of the nephron. Now I will come to the buffer system. We have seen that the buffer system is actually prevent the drastic change of the pH in spite of addition of acid or alkali, and so it comes in fraction of second in action so as to prevent a drastic change in the pH. So though there are constantly production of acids which are the volatile acids or the fixed acids, these acids during the cellular metabolism which are produced, they are not immediately excreted by the lung or the kidney. So whenever they are produced in the tissue, they are initially released in the blood. Then by blood it is transported to the site of excretion, that is volatile acid by the lung and non-volatile or fixed by the kidney. But during the transport, when they are released, this H plus ion has to be titrated, and that titration takes place by the buffer system. So buffer system maintains the constant blood pH and allows the transport of acid from the site of production, that is tissues, to the site of excretion, that is lung in case of volatile acids, and the kidneys in case of the fixed acids. And these buffers which are important in the body are 1. Bicarbonate buffer, 2nd phosphate buffer, 3rd protein buffer, and 4th, that is the hemoglobin buffer. Of all these 4 buffers, the most important, most powerful, most effective is bicarbonate buffer. Now bicarbonate buffer, as by definition, it is the mixture of solution of weak acid, carbonic acid, and its salt with strong base, that is strong base is NaOH, that is sodium hydroxide. So when the carbonic acid reacts with strong base, there is a titration and formation of the salt, which is the soda bicarb. So the buffer system is consisting of the weak acid, carbonic acid, and its salt, that is sodium bicarbonate. Whenever the acid is produced in various tissue metabolism, like the pyruvic acid or lactic acid in the carbohydrate metabolism, or phosphoric acid in the phospholipid metabolism, these acids are released in the blood. They by definition they donate H plus ion and get converted into anion. The buffering of this H plus ion is very effectively done by the bicarbonate buffer. So these ions, H plus ions, are absorbed by the soda bicarb. As a result, soda bicarb reacts with this particular H plus ion and results in the formation of carbonic acid. Carbonic acid is very unstable, it is a weak acid, and in presence of carbonic anhydrase dissociates into carbon dioxide and water. So this carbon dioxide, which is formed from carbonic acid, is exhaled by the lung during the process of exhalation. So washout of one carbon molecule is equivalent to the excretion of H plus ion. So whether the weak acid or the strong acids which are produced in the tissues, as soon as they are released in the blood, it is the bicarbonate which comes in the picture, resulting into the titration of the H plus ion, and this continues till the fixed acids are excreted by kidney while the volatile acids are excreted by lung. And so this bicarbonate buffer is very important, which clinically we measure in case of the various metabolic conditions like metabolic acidosis or alkalosis by ABG, arterial blood gas. Now in case of the uric acid, which is the end product of purine catabolism, it is released from the hepatocytes in the blood. This uric acid is a weak acid, so by definition it donates H plus ion in smaller amount, gets converted into H plus ion and anion urate. Whenever there is release of H plus ion, salt, soda bicarb comes in picture, so that the sodium combines with urate to form monosodium urate, while H plus ion is accepted by this bicarbonate to form H2CO3, that is carbonic acid. And this carbonic acid is very unstable, which in presence of carbonic anhydrase enzyme dissociates in the carbon dioxide and water, and then that carbon dioxide is exhaled by lung during exhalation. Whether it is strong acid or the weak acid, the reaction will be same. While in case of strong acid like HCl, which is produced in the metabolism of amino acid arginine, lysine and histidine, there is release of HCl in the tissue fluid. The bicarbonate buffer comes in the picture. Here acid is strong HCl and the salt soda bicarb will react with it, so that the strong acid HCl will get converted into formation of carbonic acid, which is weak acid. So in spite of addition of very strong acid, the change in the pH is very small, because strong acid HCl is converted into weak acid, that is carbonic acid, and then this carbonic acid in presence of carbonic anhydrase splits into carbon dioxide and water, which will be exhaled in process of exhalation. On the other hand, when the alkali is added to the tissue fluid, and then when the bicarbonate buffer comes in the picture, in that case the sodium hydroxide suppose is added, then the acid is neutralized by the weak acid and as carbonic acid. Because of the absorption of hydroxyl group, there will be formation of water, and the strong ammonium hydroxide is converted into weak base, weak salt, and is soda bicarb. So though there is strong base is added to the tissue fluid, there is conversion of strong base into the weak base, and that is soda bicarb, resulting into very small change in the pH. So in spite of addition of strong acid like HCl or strong base like NaOH, the change in the pH of the blood or tissue fluid is very minimal, because conversion of strong acid into weak acid, that is carbonic acid, while conversion of strong base like NaOH into weak base like soda bicarb. The buffering capacity of the buffer depends upon the two factors, that is the concentration of the buffer and second pKa. pKa is the pH at which there is a maximum buffering activity of the buffer, and the ionized and unionized or dissociated and undissociated particles of the substance are equal. The pKa of bicarbonate buffer is 6.1, which is much away from the pH of the blood, which is 7.4. But in spite of that, as compared to various buffers in our body, bicarbonate buffer is most powerful, most effective. This is because the components of the bicarbonate, the two components are bicarbonate salt and carbon dioxide. These two components are regulated by two different systems. That is, bicarbonate is regulated by kidney function, while carbon dioxide is regulated by respiratory function. These both the systems are working continuously, simultaneously many times, and synergistically. As a result, bicarbonate buffer is extremely important in our body. Now we have seen it is mostly the soda bicarb, but in extracellular fluid, instead of sodium, even other bicarbonate salt also can act as a buffer, like potassium bicarbonate or calcium bicarbonate or even the magnesium bicarbonate. And particularly within the cell, when the concentration of sodium is low, there, like RBC, will be the potassium bicarbonate which will be acting as a buffer. Now second buffer is the phosphate buffer. This phosphate buffer, by definition, it is consisting of the mixture of weak acid, that is NaH2PO4, that is monosodium dihydrogen phosphate, and its salt with strong base, and that salt will be disodium monohydrogen phosphate. In this case also, this particular buffer which is present, the concentration of this buffer is more in the intracellular fluid, and so it acts as a powerful buffer for the intracellular buffer. Also, its concentration is higher in the distal part of the nephron, and therefore in the kidney, in the distal part of the nephron, it acts as an important powerful buffer responsible for titrable acidity. Also, this phosphate buffer which is present, this phosphate buffer, its pKa is 6.8, which is closer to the pH of the blood, and therefore it is effective. So it is more powerful intracellular in the distal part of the nephron, and since the pH of phosphate buffer is more closer to the blood pH. This phosphate buffer is also capable of knocking off the H plus ion or hydroxyl group of acid or alkali respectively. That is, when the HCl is produced and is released in the tissue fluid containing phosphate buffer, then the H, which is a strong HCl, will be now converted into a weak acid. That is, the HCl will be reacting with the salt, and that is disodium monohydrogen phosphate, as a result of which there is formation of NaCl and weak acid, that is monosodium dihydrogen phosphate. So conversion of the strong acid into weak acid. So even if there is addition of strong acid to the tissue fluid, change in the pH is very, very minimal. Similarly, when the alkali is added, hydroxyl group will be absorbed by the buffer. That is, whenever the strong base like the NaOH, the sodium hydroxide, is added to the tissue fluid containing phosphate buffer, in this case the acid will come in action of the buffer, and that is monosodium dihydrogen phosphate. The hydroxyl group will be absorbed by H to form H2O, and there is conversion of strong base into the weak base, that is disodium monohydrogen phosphate, Na2HPO4, which is a weak base. So conversion of strong base into weak base. So in spite of addition of the strong base in the tissue fluid, change in the pH of the tissue fluid is very, very minimal. Now the next important buffer, which is important from the respiratory function also, is the hemoglobin buffer. In case of cellular metabolism, there is release of energy from energy yielding substrates like glucose, free fatty acid and amino acid. During this process of cellular respiration, the carbon of the glucose, free fatty acid or amino acid is oxidized by oxygen, and so during the process of cellular respiration there is continuous production of carbon dioxide. These cells are surrounded by the interstitial fluid, which is a true internal environment. Interstitial fluid is continuous in exchange of plasma, which is liquid part of blood present in the blood vessels. Since there is continuous production of carbon dioxide, concentration of carbon dioxide in the cells is high, so there is flow of carbon dioxide from the cells along the concentration gradient from the cell into interstitial fluid. This results into high concentration of carbon dioxide in the interstitial fluid, more than plasma. So there is transport of or the diffusion of carbon dioxide from interstitial fluid along the concentration gradient into the plasma or the blood present in the blood capillaries. Now this carbon dioxide is then transported by blood in two forms. There is carbon dioxide, about 30 to 40% will be combining with the albumin and hemoglobin protein to form carbamino compounds, while 60% will be carried in form of bicarbonate ion. How in form of bicarbonate ion? When the carbon dioxide enters in the plasma, it is the liquid part. In the liquid part of the plasma, there are suspended RBCs. So carbon dioxide, which is high in the liquid part, that is plasma, will enter along the concentration gradient inside the RBC. Inside the RBC there is very high level of carbonic anhydrase enzyme. In presence of this enzyme, carbon dioxide will get hydrated to form H2CO3, that is carbonic acid, which is very unstable. In presence of carbonic anhydrase, it splits into H plus and bicarbonate ion. So in the RBC, there is formation of very high level of H plus ion and bicarbonate. This bicarbonate ion will pass along the concentration gradient from the cell outside in the plasma, and thus the bicarbonate level on the venous side of blood is high. Also, this carbon dioxide thus is carried in form of bicarbonate to the right side of the heart. So at the tissue level, there is continuous utilization of oxygen, continuous production of carbon dioxide and acid. So there is continuous flow of acid and carbon dioxide from the tissue, but in spite of addition of acid, the pH of the tissue fluid does not change much due to presence of very powerful hemoglobin buffer. Due to continuous utilization of oxygen for the oxidation of energy yielding substrates like glucose, their oxygen level falls down, and so there is unloading of oxyhemoglobin, resulting into conversion of oxyhemoglobin into deoxyhemoglobin, and this reduced or deoxyhemoglobin is very strong buffer as compared to oxyhemoglobin, and this deoxyhemoglobin acts as an alkali. Alkali is the moiety which accepts H plus ion in solution. So H plus ion which is formed inside the RBC is accepted by hemoglobin to form HHB, and so this reduced hemoglobin acts as an alkali and get converted into HHB. So the venous blood is having now less of oxygen, more of carbon dioxide, more of bicarbonate. During the venous return, this deoxygenated blood having more carbon dioxide, less of oxygen is carried to the right side of the heart. Then from the pulmonary artery, they are carried to the lung for oxygenation. In tracheobronchial tree, ultimately it will come into the alveoli, and in the air there is high concentration of oxygen, so there will be diffusion of oxygen along the concentration gradient across the respiratory membrane from the alveoli into the pulmonary capillary. So there will be oxygenation, easy and early reversible oxygenation of hemoglobin. Oxyhemoglobin acts as a very strong acid, that is the moiety which donates H plus ion, and strong acid is the moiety which donates comparatively more amount of H plus ion. But oxyhemoglobin has formed inside the RBC. So formation of H plus ion higher concentration within the RBC. So the bicarbonate which has come from the periphery, which is rich in bicarbonate, now enters from the plasma into the cell. RBC inside has got high concentration of carbonic anhydrase. So in presence of carbonic anhydrase, H plus plus bicarbonate will form carbonic acid, which will dissociate into carbon dioxide and water. Carbon dioxide concentration is high in the RBC, so will come out in the plasma. Then from the pulmonary capillary across the respiratory membrane into the alveoli, and then it will be along the concentration gradient, it will be thrown out. That is, during exhalation it is washed out, and washout of 1 carbon dioxide is equivalent to washout of 1 H plus ion. So at tissue level, reduced hemoglobin acts as an alkali, while at the lung, oxygenated hemoglobin acts as an acid, and thus they try to prevent the change in the pH of the blood and works as an excellent buffer as well as transport of carbon dioxide and oxygen. Thank you very much.